This is Group Three's PowerPoint presentation. Our company was eBay, and this is by Cameron Williams, Aurelia Medina, Dusty Martinez, and Benjamin Spencer.
Okay, so this is section 2, the introductory. So our company is eBay, which is an e-commerce industry. Its two competitors are Amazon and Alibaba. Scott F. Skinnick is eBay's outside auditor, who was in charge of making sure the company is following up. Some history about eBay was that it was founded by Pierre Omidyar in 1995. It all started in San Jose, California, where he sold his first product, which was a printer for $14.83. After this, the company had many individuals who would go on the website and sell or buy products. This led to the company to become a $1 million company. Some of the major products and services that are provided by eBay are home decor, garden accessories, home tech, fitness, branded tech, fashion, shoes, jewelry, collectibles, and books. eBay also has some advantages, which include being competitive over other companies. It is also a well-recognized company in a geographical division that is able to combine group brands from the general market. On the other hand, eBay also has some disadvantages, which includes a lack of innovation. Additionally, they have a disadvantage for having a centralized organizational system, and they are easily imitatable, meaning that a different company could do a similar thing. Now, section 3. So in 2018, eBay had net sales of $10.746 billion, and in 2019, they had $10.8 billion with a 0.5% increase from 2018. In 2018, eBay also had a net income of $2,530 million, while in 2019, its net income was $1,786 million. eBay seems to be profitable, although it has a net loss. The net income decreased since the past year by $744 million. What caused this change was that the expenses were higher than the revenue. We would also expect eBay's future earnings to increase, but at a slower rate. Additionally, there were no unusual items, and the top 5 most highly compensated executives were Scott F. Skinfield, Andrew J. Kring, J. Yoon Lee, Peter B. Thompson, and Devin N. Winnig.
So for eBay does not have any inventory for inventory. So they, unlike other competitors, they decide not to. For property and equipment are stated at historical cost less accumulated depreciation. The depreciation for equipment, buildings, and leasehold improvements commence once they are ready for our intended use. Depreciation is computed using the straight line method over the estimated useful lives of the assets, generally 1 to 3 years for computer equipment and software, up to 30 years for buildings and building improvements. The shortage of 5 years, or the term of a lease for leasehold improvements, and 3 years for furniture, fixtures, and vehicles. Land is not depreciated. Next, eBay's assets we'll talk about is not growing in terms because assets drops in percentages every year. For 2019, the total assets was $18.174 billion, and the current assets were $4.076 billion. The total assets in 2020 were $20.014 billion, but the current assets are still yet to be found. In eBay's 10K report, they also owe $1,257 in debt. eBay's largest asset is land, and the estimated amount of land is $740 million. Also, eBay does not have any intangibles or intangible assets. In the 10K report, it states that they have some contingencies, but cannot disclose the payment or purpose.
I will be doing section 5, capital structure. 2018 and 2019 were the years presented on eBay's balance sheet. The first graph shows these years' total liabilities and stockholders' equity. 2018, eBay had $16,538 million in total liabilities and $6,281 million in total stockholder equity. 2019, its total liabilities were $15,304 million, and total stockholders' equity was $2,870 million. These values indicate that liabilities are greater. The mix of liabilities and stockholder equity relate to the company by being the two sources that are used to finance the company and fund its assets. In eBay's annual report, they only showed the previous 2 years of their liability and stockholder equities, resulting in a shrinkage for both accounts. This relationship does not seem to change over the years. Between 2017 and 2018, the company had a shrinkage and has continued occurring during current years. According to the common stock graph, authorized stock was not recorded in the annual report for 2018, but was set at 3,580 million in 2019. Outstanding common stock has decreased by 119 million. Per value is set at 0.39. Preferred stock outstanding is set at 0.708 billion, and authorized preferred stock information was not provided. Treasury shares were set at 897 and 763 for the issuing company to buy back. Paid cash dividends were set to pay out at $473 million. 26 of the cash dividends came out of eBay's net income. Stock market prices for the past 2 recorded years had stayed constant between $28 through $38 for the past 5 period ends. October of 2018, the average price paid per share was not recorded. As for the operating activities, eBay obtained $3.1 billion in 2017, then saw a 15.51% decline in 2018, setting them at $2.6 billion. Finally, in 2019, they increased by 17.16%, bringing them back up to $3.1 billion. The cash flow is back to a similar number it saw 3 years ago, with only a slight increase from 2017. eBay's operating cost outweighs their cash flow from operating by a significant margin, leading us to believe they finance some of their costs. The cash flow is higher than income because they may have not paid for some expenses and are waiting until the next year to pay. Investing activity in 2017, eBay was negative $1,295 million. In 2018, eBay rose to a positive $2,894 million, and in 2019, its investing activities were at $2,787 million. This tells us that eBay gives us insight about the gains and losses the company has endured over the past years. Additionally, the negative amount in 2070 tells us eBay's invest in capita is expected to have future earnings, which is what we see in 2018 and 19. The use of cash in this area has included in purchasing property, equipment, investments, and other assets. As for financing activities, from 2017 to 2019, the cash flow for financial activities for eBay has been negative. The company has been on a steep upward trend on the negative scale. 2017, they were negative $1,484 million. 2018, they were negative $5,398 million. 2019, they were negative $7,091 million. Thus telling us cash used in financing activities of $7.1 billion in 2018, primarily used to repurchase $5 billion of common stock, repay outstanding debt of $1.6 billion, and pay $473 million of cash dividends. Cash used in financing activities of $5.4 billion in 2018 was primarily used to repurchase $4.5 billion of common stock and repay $750 million of their outstanding senior notes. The net cash used in financing activities of $1.8 billion in 2017 was primarily due to $2.7 billion of cash used to repurchase common stock and $1.5 billion of cash used to repay outstanding debt, partially offset by $2.5 billion of cash proceeds from debt issues.
Okay, so my section was section 7 over the ratios, the summary, and the conclusion of our entire report. Now, here we can see eBay's ratios when compared to their competitors, Amazon. Here they are. I will have a short analysis of these ratios within the next slides, so just to show y'all. The liquidity ratios are an important class of financial metrics used to determine a debtor's ability to pay off current debt obligations without raising external capital. When eBay is compared to its competitor Amazon, it is more positive. It has a positive trend when it comes to liquidity ratios due to its lower working capital, low inventory turnover, and higher current ratio rate. The debt to equity is a measure of the degree at which a company is financing its operations through debt versus wholly owned funds. eBay has a higher debt to equity ratio when compared to Amazon, and meaning they do not have as much leverage when it comes to getting bank loans and other bank settlements. Profitability ratios are metrics that assess a company's ability to generate income relative to its revenue, operating cost, balance sheet, assets, or shareholders' equity. Although eBay slightly falls behind Amazon when it comes to asset turnover, in all the other categories, eBay positively excels in profitable outcomes. The price to earnings ratio is the ratio for valuing a company that measures the current share price relative to its per share earnings. eBay's price equity ratio is considered to be lower than average, which may tell buyers that eBay has a low changing growth rate, which means the company will stay at a constant level. Now, this means that they will have a higher likelihood of turning profits when compared to Amazon. I would much rather invest in eBay than Amazon. Their debt to equity ratio is desirable, nearly doubling Amazon's. Along with a higher debt to equity ratio, they also display a higher current ratio. This will usually mean that the company is more likely to pay investors back. eBay boasts higher ratios across the board, making it more desirable. The return on equity shows that eBay is earning more cash than that just from shareholders. To me, the most important is the price earnings. Amazon is way higher than eBay. Amazon shares are higher than eBay when compared to their earnings. While it might not earn more than Amazon, you can purchase more shares for the same amount of money as one from Amazon. I feel that you would get the most value for the cheaper eBay shares than the higher priced Amazon shares. And finally, when it comes to the inventory turnover for both companies, Amazon has a much higher ratio since eBay does not really have any inventory. This tells us that Amazon has an excessive inventory compared to sales. Additionally, the net margin is better on eBay's side, meaning that eBay is able to translate a certain amount of dollars collected into profit by 17%. As for the current ratio, eBay is able to pay short-term debt much faster than Amazon within a year. On the other hand, eBay has enough to pay off its short-term debt with its short-term assets because it is much higher working capital. eBay is also better at generating revenue, and this could be shown by the gross profit ratio, which is much greater than Amazon's. The asset turnover ratio for Amazon is much higher than eBay's, meaning that Amazon is much better at using its asset to generate revenue. Overall, eBay has a much better performance when it comes to its ratio analysis.